Hello, I'm Madelyn Bass with So Real with Madelyn, where we keeping it real daily by creating greater lifestyles, by changing our status, and raising our standards in Christ. We are back one more time. Thank you, Lord. We have another amazing guest with us. She's a beautiful spirit, and she has a powerful book that I know you're going to enjoy. She's just a wonderful personality, and I know we're going to have a good time on the show today. And this is Miss Dr. Linda Williams. Are you with us?
I am.
Hi.
You ain't got to say my name. See, you don't have to say my name right. The Lord know who I am.
Hello.
I got you. Oh, attitude. Leonard. Oh my goodness. And I have to get you all right. I am not legally allowed to use the doctor moniker until after I've completed my dissertation and defended it. And you're not the only one that's calling me Dr. Linda, but I just want to go on record telling the university it ain't me making that mistake. I'll let everybody else make that mistake. Don't kick me out. All right. We call it things that be not as though they were, and I am honored to be on your show today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Why don't you just share a little bit? I know I could read this beautiful reputation that you have and all these accolades, but I want them to hear from you. Give them a brief summary of who you are.
I'm Linda Williams, and I wrote the book, Whose Apple Is It Anyway? Empowering Purpose to Achieve Your God-Ordained Destiny. And I'm just someone out here that's walking and stepping finally along my path of purpose, and my whole purpose is ensuring that everybody in the body of Christ can overcome anything that's holding them back based on their past. You can call me Doctor of Destiny, if you will. And that's not because I learned that in book knowledge. That's because I learned that along my own, being off my own path. I learned it through the School of Hard Knocks. And although I do have a master's in social work, although I'm working on my doctorate in social work, it's not so much what you learn in book knowledge that matters, and much less if you're learning that and it's not benefiting you along your path of purpose. I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I was born in Chicago. I was reared in backwoods Elbridge, Michigan. And when you come full circle, you find yourself in places you said you'd never go. And so here that's set in Grand Rapids, Michigan for the last 23 years after leaving at 18 years old and saying, I'm never coming back. Don't ever say what you'll never do.
Absolutely. Because I'm telling you, the Lord will show you, won't he?
Oh, I got some stories. I got some stories.
If you had a minute.
And my sister Susan A. Williams, she's a prophetess. She's listening into the show, and she could tell you some stories about me, too.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, them folks that'll tell on you, too. You know, don't make them mad. Cause them ones that know everything. All right.
You know, I'm so glad to have this opportunity to talk about Whose Apple Is It Anyway? There's not even enough time on the show to talk about what led me to that book. But
we want you to share a little bit, though. Start first by what is the inspiration of the book? We'll start there.
The inspiration for the book was my own life. My sister Susan, who, again, I hope she's listening in, told me December 17th, 2005, that I was going to write a book. And I remember the decades before I had this title for this book and couldn't remember it. And when the Lord reminded me of the title of the book, it was confirmation of what my sister and my mother had told me about. The heck I was going through was not about me. It was about all the people in the body of Christ that were going to be free because of what I was going through. And although in the middle of the trenches, when it's your rump in the fire, you don't want to hear it's not all about you. I knew that there was something in what my mother said to me to call me out of the blue and tell me that. And I knew that there was only one other time that she spoke into my life like that, because my mother's not out there just speaking into people's lives. I remembered that in my spirit it bore witness. The reason I'm sitting in Grand Rapids right now today is because another fateful phone call with my mother years before that. So I knew there was something to it. I didn't know how much I was going to have to go through. My sister told me that book was tied to my healing. It was only going to move forward to the extent that I moved through my healing, and the book was written as I went through multiple layers of deep down, soul-wrenching healing in my own life. And the thing about it, Madelyn, is you don't realize that you have those areas that need to be healed. That's why the book is here, because we don't recognize those areas. We're totally duped, totally in the dark. At one point I talk about eyes wide shut. You think you know what your issues are? It's because those things are so deeply hidden that we stay duped and off our paths of purpose. We have got to get this, Madelyn.
That's right. I agree. Now, the title, I know that's going to bring about the meat of it, but how did you come about Whose Apple Is It anyway?
There are several methods, several things that go into that. So in the Garden of Eden, when we know it wasn't really an apple in the Garden of Eden, but for the purpose of the book, we call it an apple. And we know that the fall of man occurred around that apple incident. We know that there was disobedience around that apple. And when we look at that fruit that they ate in the Garden of Eden, we know that it wasn't the apple that caused the fall of man. It was the decisions that man and woman made in that moment. So it wasn't about that apple. It was about the decisions they made around that apple. And then there's the story about Buddha. You know, you see Buddha with the begging basket, and some guy was just berating him about being a beggar. You know, you should do better. You need to this, that, and the other. And Buddha wasn't paying. It was like Buddha didn't even hear this man. And Buddha stayed calm. Well, you know, this is how it really works. If you got somebody trying to tap dance on your last nerve and you never let them see you sweat, they're going to clown some more, okay? And that's just what this man did, this old man did with Buddha. Don't you hear what I'm calling you? What's your man? How can you stay so calm? And Buddha reached into his basket and pulled out an apple, reached it out to this man and said, if I have this apple and I give it to you, and you refuse to take this apple, then whose apple is it? And the old man said, well, it's yours, of course. That's your apple. I'm not going to take it. He said, well, it's the same with the insults and then when you're throwing that mess. I choose not to take that mess. That still belongs to you. And he went back to his begging basket. So it's all about the fact. Oh, yeah, that apple can be anything. It can be that coworker that tap dances on your last nerve. That apple can be the Groundhog's Day grind that you're in, going in and out of these same unaffirming relationships. That thing can be an emotional outburst that you keep saying over and over again that you're not going to do it anymore. It can be drug abuse, substance abuse. I dedicate the book to Whitney Houston because apparently she was caught up in that thing and she didn't get to live long enough to come out of it. So it can be anything, person, people, places, circumstances, or things that you think are your problem. But the truth is that unless you recognize that you have a problem, you'll never know that you are the problem. And this is all about how to walk us through. It's about more than hearing accolades in the church, out the pulpit. Decree and declare, and you're going to have this, and the Lord declares that. I'm sorry, declare till the cows come home. Unless we get the principles in this book, we ain't moving, and we're stuck. Just like we were when we were naming and claiming it back in the 80s. A lot of us are still stuck. We ain't seeing none of that, all that talking we're doing. And I am tired of seeing people going out butt backwards out of the church, loving God to their heart, and can't figure out why they can't connect what they desire in their life with what they're actually getting.
Yeah. And it starts with the healing, and I think that's really great how you're saying, you know, with the breakthroughs that individuals need to make, they need to laugh through their pains, and they need to focus on what's to come and where you are now, not where you've been. Take the where you've been and use those as stepping stones to move forward to your greatness, because it's up to you to make the decision that I will not live this way again. I will not be this way.
But
is it a surrendering that you're wanting to? Is it a surrendering that you're saying that they need to do?
No. See, that's what we're missing. You see, if that was enough, we'd all be there. If it was enough to recognize that you're caught in that cycle and you need out of it, if it were just enough to want and wish and wait for better, we would all be there. And that's how we've been duped in the church. You cannot ignore multiple decades of sound behavioral science. Our humanity is the one thing we all share. We cannot separate our humanity from who we are as if anything of the flesh, quote unquote, is wrong, to be turned your back on, not to even consider. We are both human and spirit. We're both of that. And you cannot move through this kind of healing, Madelyn, by ignoring your humanity. And that's the piece this book brings to bear. I'm a trained psychotherapist. I've also been certified in substance abuse counseling. I know all of that behavioral science. But I'm also a child of God. And I'm looking at it from a realistic standpoint. And as God moved me through writing this book, I saw where he was going with that. You can't ignore one without the other. That's like you can't even claim the cart before the horse, because the horse is back at the barn. And you're trying to figure out why you can't go somewhere.
Now, to explain to those who are listening, you're saying that they will know humanity and who they are. Break that down to them.
You got a human side, you got a spiritual side. It's through our spiritual side that we commune with God, communicate with God, relate to God. But I'm majoring on the part of the Bible that tells us that human mind is God's natural-born enemy. The Bible tells us your human mind is God's enemy. It can't fathom the things of God. Okay? That's the reality we're missing. Hello? Okay? But let's take it back to the Garden of Gethsemane. That wasn't Jesus' God side going through all of that heck in that garden. He came to a point where, okay, Lord, now here we are, crossroads. Is there any way I can get around this mess? Because if it is, I'm up for that plan. Okay? But the reality of that is that Jesus' human mind was no more good to him than ours is to us. It didn't flip the script and change once he rose from the dead. It was that way when he got here. So that was his human side fighting his spiritual side. His spiritual side, the part of him that was all God knew, that his whole purpose for being here was at rest in that moment. And I believe to my heart that in that moment his father told him the decision was his. I'm trying to connect us with the fact that this human mind is in God's natural-born enemy. It's up to us to handle our business in that regard. There's no screaming at the devil, talking in tongues, declaring and decreeing, jumping up and down, getting excited at church. That's all beneficial. But when you walk out of that emotional high, you're walking back into the reality of the world. And that's where your humanity has to be leveraged. Jesus had to accomplish his stuff on earth in his humanity. All God or not, and all man or not, he had to do it in his humanity, and so do we. That's the way it's decreed. So how can we turn our back on that part of us when we say the flesh, we're talking about our humanity, how can we turn our back on something that we have to utilize in order to execute the master plan? I'm bringing the balance.
Purpose,
I'm bringing it back. So it's not enough to know you want better. I can talk to you all day about wanting better. I can talk to you all day about changing your mind. I can talk to you all day about how you need to think different. But what I'm doing in this book is telling you how to do that. I'm not leaving you high and dry. See, that's what I'm here for. I get so frustrated with that. You know, have the mind of Christ. I do have the mind of Christ. His human mind was useless too. Hello. What are you talking about in the real world? You can leverage your will to accomplish all of this. And outside of that inside-out healing, Madelyn, then we cannot leverage it. You've got to walk through that healing in order to leverage it. Nothing's wasted. Nothing's wasted.
Now, share with us about you work with ex-offenders, and you're looking to help the female offenders to get their direction. Is that you're focusing on helping them to find their humanity and to balance and come out of where they are into a newness? And is that a program that you have that you work with, or is it
Girl, that's
more
a doggone
counseling?
You know what that is? You know what that is? That's a doggone example of how destiny ain't never going to look the way you think it will. That's a prime example. I went back to school in business. I went to Campbell and got a business degree in organizational leadership because I was always told I was good at business. I should have been focusing my 15-month research project on my business, which would have been food stamps because I'm with the federal government. I got the okay to not do it on my business. God intervened and let me do it on recidivism. I did that on recidivism, a 15-month applied research project, then led to Prison Fellowship picking it up, implementing that project in Grand Rapids with an organization called Hope Network, and then that led me into a master's of social work. I had no inclination for social work. I didn't want to sit up and do psychotherapy. I wasn't interested in that. Partially because now that I'm talking, it's because I wasn't healed. So what that was me getting led into that through various steps of obedience that God led me into, and so I decided to focus my dissertation on that. Now, let's talk about what that is. I believe that in any situation, these women are in and out. This applies to men too, so let's not talk about women. You're in and out of prison. You're in and out of these recidivism programs. You're in and out of rehab. You're in and out of jail. You're in and out of drug rehab, back into it. You know the bottom line that I'm focusing my thesis on this, my dissertation on this. I believe that that human agency, the dynamic of human agency, which is our individual ability to leverage our wills to do one thing or another, okay, is key to addressing the issue of multiple reincarceration. And I seek to connect people with their God-given, God-ordained purpose, helping them to leverage that purpose to establish a God-ordained vision. Out of that God-ordained vision, then you have a focus to keep you on track so that you are moving toward your God-ordained destiny. I believe that hope is fostered in connecting people with their purpose, and that's where I'm going with my dissertation.
Yes.
That's where I'm going with my dissertation. I just believe that you got to have hope. See, hope leaves you. You don't even know it's gone until you find it again. You're operating out of hope. You're going to sleep at the wheel. You know you went to sleep at the wheel once you're waking up, if you're blessed enough to wake up. And I think that you got to connect people with their hope. You got to connect them with that purpose. That purpose has got to establish an unmovable vision in their life. And that vision will walk them through all of the systemic things that most ex-offenders have to deal with, and then you support them with the resources necessary. But I'm interested in people back on their path of purpose. Whatever circumstance they're dealing with, whatever challenges they're going through and have to face coming out or otherwise, I am interested in connecting people with their God-ordained purpose because everybody's here for a reason. If you're breathing with a belly button, you're here for a reason. And if you're still breathing, there's always hope. And you change your life and you change your destiny, okay? Get back on track with destiny in the here and now. It's all we have. I can't live in the future. I can't take that past. That past is weighing me down. In this here and now, you can leverage your will to have a better harvest than you're standing in now.
And I just believe, too, that once all of that occurs, you're really bringing in some things that people do need to hear, because a lot of times we babysit people's feelings because we don't want them to go back. But that's going to be a choice that they make if they choose to do so. But if you're there to encourage them, support them, counsel them, whatever it is you need to do to get them where they need to be to see, okay, it's my decision to be different. Is that what you're saying in this book? Okay. So I just want to make sure.
Basically, well, more than that, okay, because you can make the decision and still not get there. See what I'm saying? Every time you're at your lowest point in life, every time you're at the bottom of the barrel, as they say, where you got to hit bottom, they call it in substance abuse, you make a decision. I'm about connecting that decision and connecting you to your purpose so that decision becomes manifested and a reality in your life based on ongoing decisions you make with a focus on your destiny. That focus on your destiny is what I call vision. See, I think that's what we're missing, Madelyn. It's not enough to tell somebody you got to make a doggone decision. It's not enough to tell people that, because people make the decision over and over again. Will somebody please come along and tell me what the mess means in my life right now? Can somebody please come along and tell me what that looks like, where the rubber meets the road? And can somebody tell me how to leverage my will in this so that I can walk out of this mess into a better harvest, instead of out of this mess into some more mess, which is where I've been going all my life. It's about more than a decision, and it's about understanding what's underlying the fact that we cannot connect what we know in our heads that we want in our lives with what we're really getting. It's helping us to understand those unspoken subconscious expectations that are drawing that mess in our lives. And when we don't know that those unconscious expectations are there, they're running us rampant. They're running rampant over us.
That's it.
That's what's different about this book, Madelyn. It's a rubber meets the road perspective, because I've been frustrated by what does all of that mean? Been in church all my life, in our church all my life. Used to be in the gospel group, okay? I love the Lord all my life, but you couldn't tell me what do you mean when you tell me to have the mind of Christ, know who you are in Christ. What the heck does that mess mean?
Right.
And I've done my study. I love to get in my strong. I do deep, because I had to do a lot of research for this book, but people don't get what that stuff means. And I'm tired of people going, like Whitney went out of here, and a girl named Deb Ferran, I dedicated the book to her too, how they love God and they had everything they needed. But, you know, being fully equipped for your purpose doesn't mean you're ever going to make it there. It doesn't mean that you're going to make the right decisions to make that real. See, what God gives you is immutable. Your destiny cannot deny you. That's out of the heart of God. He doesn't renege on anything. So your destiny is set in stone, but we can deny destiny.
Yeah, we can. It's a choice, and that's absolutely right. A purpose-based system that you have in place that is going to help individuals find their destiny. That's powerful, because a lot of times we can dream of things and we can think about things, but to have that hope and that passion and pursue the purpose is another.
Now you're talking.
I understand what you're saying. That's really true.
Yes.
Okay, so the network that you have, which is Hope Network, and that's for the prison ministry, correct?
Okay, no. Hope Network. Okay, I don't have Hope Network. Hope Network, I don't have that. Hope Network is an establishment that's been in the community for decades that did do that program in partnership with Prison Fellowship, but I am not affiliated with Hope Network.
Okay. What other counselings or ministries that you have? I know I'm going to ask you in a little bit your website, the information, but how can people reach out to you that need your help, and they're listening, and they've been waiting for someone to be real with them, because that's basically what I'm
it's going to be real. Yeah, girl. Look,
you got to be ready for it.
My middle name. You said
there you go.
WHOSEAPPLE.org. Who's Apple? .org. If you can't remember that, just Google Who's Apple. I'm coming to the top of the thing. When you go to who'sapple.org, you will see a trailer for Who's Apple Is It Anyway. You'll see all of the connections and all of the click-throughs you need in order to purchase the paperback, the hardback, and the e-book. You'll see the book trailer. You'll see all the services I offer. You'll see how to contact me by email. One-stop shop, who'sapple.org.
That's always good. One-stop shop. That's what I'm talking about. So that is wonderful. I have truly just enjoyed listening to you, because, I mean, a lot of times I think that I'm crazy with how I see things or think about things and the way that I perceive it. So it's good to hear that there is someone else that's seeing and hearing the same thing, because you don't want to come across harsh, but it's like it's just the truth. And until you are ready to do something, until you're ready to do something, I can't help you. So
come on now.
Yeah, so that's really good. That's some good meat, good stuff. Okay. Do you have anything else that you're working on? I know this book just came out in the month of March, but I know a lot of times individuals are usually working on something else to follow up. But do you do speaking engagements? Do you do?
I'm available for all of that. I can do seminars that, even organizational seminars. I've got a background in labor management, so I have a track I'm developing for church organizations to help them to be better leaders, stronger leaders. I also have my life coach and relationship coach thing. If you need that, contact me through the Who's Apple. I'm available for conferences, motivational speaking, church thingies. Just call me.
Okay. Now I hear a lot of people saying life coaching. Is that a certification, or what is life coaching?
It's not regulated officially, but you can get certified. There's a million ways to get certified out there. If anybody's interested, I really strongly suggest that they go with Christian certification, Christian life coach certification. And the difference between a life coach and a psychotherapist is that the psychotherapist is there to dig in and help you to understand what your issues are, but a life coach is just there to kick you in the pants and move you forward. We're not going to spend a lot of time as a coach trying to figure out what your major malfunction is. We just kick you in the pants and moving you forward.
Yeah, so come on now. It's time to get with it. Do some things differently.
That's right.
That's what we need to do.
That's right. A lot of accountability,
Yeah, that's good stuff. Accountability, that's what I'm talking about. All right, because I handled it with my kids. That's how I dealt with my children, and now they are grown. And I was a single parent, and a lot of people, statistically, I refused. I refused to be a statistic with a black woman with some kids.
Come on now.
But, you can make the decision, and I tell people, you make the decision and stick with it and pursue what you say you're not going to become. You just got to be determined to say, I'm worth more than a statistic.
Yes.
So, henceforth, my son is a minister. He's married. He's doing well. My daughter's in nursing school. So I tell single mamas out there, you can do this thing. You just got to get past all this stuff you holding in your heart that somebody did to you. Let it go. Let that go. It's time to free yourself so you can become that greatness.
And this book, I guarantee you this book will walk you through that process. Too powerful it will walk you through that. You had a determined focus. No matter what went on around you, you had a focus and a determination. That's what makes the difference.
It does. It does make a very big difference. And I tell my kids that when you make your mind up, men that kind of be mad at me if you want to, but you're not coming up out of it until you get yourself together.
Come on now. See?
So they've learned, My son said, Mama, you was itty bitty, but I was scared of you. Good.
Good.
Feel me.
Yes,
Feel me. Go to jail, you sit there. You get a baby, you raising it, because I'm done, man. No, you've been taught. Yeah, you have been taught.
Yes, sir.
So
and then you have to let them go.
Trust that. You do. You got to trust what you taught them is going to get them through it. You teach them the keys, and that's, praying and keeping yourself rooted. No right from wrong, just the choices that you make, decisions, the choices that you make, the people you hang around, you know what to do. So you just got to put that into play.
That's right.
This has been wonderful. We got like a minute left. So, so ladies and gentlemen, this is Mrs. Linda Williams, and she's been here sharing with us about her book, Whose Apple Is It Anyway? Go online now. Is it in iTunes? Everywhere? Is it all out there or just on your website? I didn't hear you mention.
No, all your connections to buy the hardback, the paperback, and the ebook are on my website, and that'll take you to wherever those are available. Yeah. Okay,
and that's whoseapple.org. That's
right on.
Those of you who are listening, whoseapple.org. Go in there and just have a shop fest. She said, one-stop shop.
Come on now. That's
and
right.
And get your healing. Get yourself together so you can be that greatness that you was dreaming about, daydreaming about, wondering about.
That's
and
right.
some of you even writing about it. Get it done. Publish your book. Get that stuff out there. You do what you believe in you enough to be positive in somebody's life. It ain't nobody but yourself. So I'm Madelyn. This is So Real with Madelyn, where we keep it real daily by creating greater lifestyles, by changing your status and raising your standards. I thank you, Miss Linda. And ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a wonderful weekend. Yes, it's been exciting. You must get you back on here. This has been truly, truly grand. Y'all have a wonderful evening. It's just a beautiful Saturday, and just enjoy your evening.